Welcome to MassageTherapyRadio.com. Our guest today is June Hylands, the Executive Director of the Canadian Massage Therapist Alliance. June, thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you tell us, first of all, of what the Canadian Massage Therapist Alliance, what the purpose of the organization is?
Oh, I'd be pleased to. I see that you are the voice of massage therapy profession, and we are as well, so we have a lot in common. We're actually a national alliance. We bring together provincial and territorial associations for to look at common issues and also to speak at a federal level for the profession of massage.
Excellent. Great. So, as a common voice, can you tell us right now, why is it a good time to be a massage therapist?
There's a big interest on the level of the federal government in the issue of complementary and alternative health care. And it's been my experience that this is being driven by public demand and consumer interest. The government, though, is not as familiar with that part of healthcare as they would like to be. Massage therapy as a profession is well situated because we're very comfortable with the traditional Western medical model, but we're also comfortable with the complementary and alternative parts of healthcare. So this it puts us in a very interesting position right now, where I think we are invited to the table and looked to for from all sides as somebody who can look at all sides of the equation for healthcare in Canada.
Excellent. Thank you. Now, we know massage therapy in Canada, there's a lot of differences in terms of regulation and standards from province to province. Can you tell us why it's important to have a national body speaking for massage therapy?
It's so important. For example, right now we have, as you say, 3 provinces that are have legislation. That's BC, Ontario, and Newfoundland. As the other provinces are lobbying for that, we certainly can share information and sometimes resources to help our colleagues to get there. And in the meantime, our provincial members act somewhat in the capacity of a college in a legislated province. We ensure that the standards are there. To be part of the CMTA, you have to have a 2,200 hour standard. You have to have an exam and continuing education. So in the interim, it certainly lends a huge voice to the standards that need to be met for the profession. But also, I think that again, this relationship that we can have on a federal level is important as the profession is maturing. And an example I would give of that was this year there was federal funding for a project called the EICP, which is an more integrated way of looking at healthcare, where different professional disciplines would come to the table to provide their particular skills and judgment and experience. And we were invited to be part of that, to consult and discuss and contribute to that project with doctors and nurses and pharmacists and chiropractors, etc. And then we're invited to Ottawa to sign onto that document that would go back then to the federal government. So although healthcare is certainly provincially a jurisdiction of the provinces for the most part, there's a huge component that is federally driven or federally looked at. And without a national voice or a national apparatus, you can't be at the table. And so it's a very important time for, I think, the profession to have a national voice.
Excellent. Excellent. Do you certainly have outlined some of the initiatives that the CMTA is taking. Do you want to talk about any other initiatives on the table or on the agenda right now?
I think there are 2 that we're working on right now that are particularly important. One is our close association with the Canadian Massage Research Network. These are our research leaders in the profession, the people we look to, the Trish Drydens and Pamela Hodgsons and Danelle DeGowan-Moody's and Amanda Basquils and their colleagues. And we work very closely and give that research network, again, a structure so that they can apply for federal funding and can work closely with a group that is established and at arm's length, because clearly the research can never be influenced or biased, but that's a very close working relationship and one we're very proud of. The second is much more pragmatic. It has to do with continuing education. And right now, the provinces and the territories are managing this quite independently. And as a group, as an alliance, we looked at this and said, if we were to do this from a more national perspective with a little cooperation, could we standardize some of this, which would mean easier access to people who want to provide courses, which would give some standardization across the country on what is an accredited course, how many do you need, what is an appropriate cycle time. And we have now, are just in the process of getting agreement on that and moving to the next phase, which would be a common application process. So I'm really quite excited about that.
Wonderful. Well, June, thank you for being with us today. Again, it was June Hylands with the Canadian Massage Therapist Alliance on Massage Therapy Radio.
And I want to thank you and wish you much success.
Thank you, John.